Okay, so we're settling down. Most of us are already there. I'm just going to come join you. Hmm. So, as you arrive on your mat, some of you have already settled with a bolster underneath the legs, and some of you are just coming down to the floor. So, just checking in with yourself, and maybe if the legs are already on the bolster, you might even just do a little bit of pointing through the toes as you inhale and reaching through the heels as you exhale. So you're just going into a little bit of a point and flex through the foot just to awaken the foot, the ankle, the lower leg, the knee, the thigh, and the hips. You might even go into a few ankle circles. If needed, legs can always come up into the chest to give them a hug as well. Just taking a moment here to support the body. It's a little bit cooler in the studio today, so we won't stay here too long. Just to allow ourselves to get moving. But see if the bolster wants to be flat, supporting the back of the knee and maybe the thigh just above the knee. Sometimes the knees want to be bent to create a little bit more length through the back body, and you can turn your bolster up on its side. Hands can touch abdomen or arms can free out to the side. So allow the arms to take up as much space as they want to free the heart. So we've been freeing the thoracic body a little bit more, and we're going to also focus on the hips and the legs today. So as you arrive here and we feel the container that we're creating together as a group, the breathing is being held in our awareness as we take some breaths in the nose, releasing out the mouth with a sigh. Let's do that a couple more times in the nose, releasing out the mouth, maybe with a sigh. You might even feel the other variation of the breath, which is the inhale through the nose and the pursing of the lips and blowing it out the mouth. Feeling the exhalation elongate. So, a really quick tool when sometimes we feel a little bit more overwhelmed or life is throwing us a lot, we can recognize this feeling and take a few breaths in the nose and out the mouth. And then feel the pursed breath in the nose and breathing it through the pursed lip on the exhale. And this breath specifically is one of the quickest ways to down regulate the nervous system from a little bit more of an anxious stress response into a place of feeling a little bit more equilibrium. We can still have our sympathetic nervous system present, but feel that we're in a balanced state in our sympathetic. So as we meet ourself as we are and we feel the imprint of our body landing through our roots at our feet or heels, if the legs are straight, the weight of the legs on the bolster, the right hip, the left hip, the feeling of the breath expanding through abdomen, rib cage on the inhale. So we feel a widening. And as we exhale, belly deflates and the ribs gather. And so allowing yourself to receive space, receive nourishment on the inhale as body gently expands. And as you exhale and the belly deflates and our primary breathing muscle, the diaphragm, relaxes back up into an upward dome shape. You feel the rib cage gather in. And as we inhale, some of us can feel our diaphragm muscle, which rests under the lungs. As we inhale, it slowly lowers down towards the belly button and it flattens out a little bit. And that's what presses on the abdomen to expand the belly. And it draws the breath in to fill your lungs. And so you feel that expansion. It's a revitalization. And then as you exhale, there's that letting go through the lungs, through the body, through the mind. Feel the earth holding you through shoulder blades, right and left, through the arms, the back of your skull. So as we breathe and meet ourselves as we are in this moment, we can notice what's accompanying us into the practice, and it creates a baseline for us. And then we notice as we move how the practice is supporting us. Allow the breath now, when it feels ready, just to move in and out of the nose. Some of you have been there already for a little while, and some of you are moving in and out. And we're going to offer a little bit of tension release through the body. So if you have your knees bent, you can always lengthen them. If you've got the bolster underneath the knee and the thigh just above the knee, you can keep it there. And we're going to let the arms either go out to the side in line with the shoulders or a little bit higher or directly overhead. You choose. And you're going to create some tension in the body as you inhale. So just tense up the whole body. And as you exhale, just let it go. We're going to do that a couple more times at your rhythm. As you inhale, create tension through the face, the body, the limbs, and you exhale, let it go when you're ready. Ah. And then see, does body want to do it one more time? Just coming in, creating a little bit of tension. Ah, and just letting go. So tension and release is a really good tool to help the body recognize holding and also offer space for letting go. Okay, when you're ready, you're going to take that bolster and just pull it off to the side. We're going to draw the legs up into the chest, give them a hug, either hands on the shins or on the hands on the back of the thighs. Beautiful. We're just going to rock a little bit from left to right. We're going to warm up the hips. So we're going to feel as you exhale, you're going to draw the legs, the thighs towards the belly. Feel the belly deflate. Then you're going to separate the legs, circle them out and around and away from the body. And then the inner thighs come back together. And then as you exhale, you draw the legs towards you, belly deflates. You inhale, separate the legs, circle them out and around away from you. Exhale towards you. Inhale, separate. Just getting right into the ball and socket of the hip. Just going in one direction a couple times to warm up that fluid surrounding the hip joint. And then we're going to go the other way. So once your legs come together away from the chest, you're going to take an exhale and separate the legs and circle them out and around back towards the belly. And then as the inner thighs meet, you're going to inhale the legs away. And then as you separate the legs, circle them out and around back towards the belly, belly deflates. Inhale as they stay together and move away. And just feeling this range of motion, nice and slow. And the other way, when we're holding on to our legs, we're also getting into the ball and socket of the shoulder. Good. And then when you're ready, just release the legs and extend arms and legs up into the air and just give them a little shake, just so we can start to proprioceptively feel the body. So shaking comes into the mechanoreceptors in the fascial system that help us feel our body a little bit more. And then let's do some arm and wrist and ankle circles in the air. It doesn't feel good to have the arms and the legs extended. Just bend the knees, drop the elbows to the floor, and just go one direction, nice and slow, focusing on range. Let the breath just have its movement, and then go the other direction. Good. And then just end with shaking out. Okay, so we're going to do a little awareness of bringing in some core support for our body. So we're going to do a little flow to activate the core. So you can have an inflated purple or blue ball or your 4-inch block in between the thighs. That will help to activate the adductors, so inner thighs. So you're just going to have that in the inner thighs. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Arms can be just softly out to the side. Okay, we're just going to do a little awakening of the feet through the legs into the inner thighs and into the pelvic floor. So as you exhale, I want you to root all the pads of the toes, the heels into the floor. And as you squeeze the inner thighs into the block, see if you can feel your lower belly draw in and back. And then as you inhale, soften the squeeze, relax your feet, soften the belly. Okay, we do that a couple more times. Root the feet, squeeze the block into the inner thighs. Maybe you feel the lower belly activate, and that is also activating the pelvic floor muscles. And then as you inhale, you soften and release the squeezing and soften the feet. And then you're going to press the feet into the floor again on your exhale. Squeeze the block, maybe about 70% effort. And then inhale, release. And let's do that one more time. Rooting down, squeezing the block. See if you can even feel a little gathering through the pelvic floor. You might even hold that squeeze at the top of the exhale, the bottom of the exhale, and just wait for a moment before you inhale and let the breath come in. And let's do that one more time. Root feet, squeeze the block, let the belly draw in, and just wait at the end of that exhale just to feel the activation, what's gathering. And then when you release, the inhalation comes in. Good. We're going to take that activation as the next time you feel the feet gently root into the floor, you're going to squeeze the block. And then you're going to lift your thighs up with keeping the knees bent so the thighs come towards the belly. Feet are going to stay hip width apart. So the distance that the inner thighs are, try to keep your feet that same distance. Arms can be out to the side, palms can be down, or the back of the hands can be on the floor. You choose. And then we're going to inhale, exhale, bringing the legs over to one side, squeezing the block. Maybe drawing the hips up and the legs a little bit up on the side. You can feel that activation and then hold that for a moment. And then as you inhale, bringing the legs through center. And as you exhale, reaching through the heels, bringing it to the side, but also seeing if you can lift up. So it's kind of like a U shape. You start to feel the lower transverse abdominis, maybe a pause there in midair before you release. As you inhale, let's point the toes. And as you exhale, let's reach through the heels as you squeeze the ball of the block, bringing the legs up onto one side. Beautiful. Inhale, point the toes. Exhale, squeeze the block. Lifting legs not only to the side, but a little bit up in a U shape. And you might just bring the pause in. So we're just bringing in a little bit of space at the bottom of the exhale before the inhale and into the exhale. Yes, we're just going to flow. Maybe you decide, oh, I want to go a little bit farther. So as you come to the side, you can feel the calf and the shins and the feet extend, reaching up through the heels, back through the hamstrings. And you feel the suspension of the legs extending in the air. Pause, then bend the knee, point the toe, inhale through center, exhale, squeeze, extend the legs like you're kicking a ball in space. So just releasing the legs at the same time of bringing in the pelvic floor, the adductors, and the lower transverse abdominis. And just see, do you want to do one more time to each side? Do you want to relax, rest? Good. Once you're done, you can pull the block out. Just allow the feet to release on the floor. Widen the feet, just the width of the mat. We're going to bring our arms up, fingers point to the ceiling. We're going to bend the elbows. So right hand comes towards left elbow, left hand comes towards right. We're just going to do a little twist. So the depth of your twist is up to you. So what feels good to you? So your arms are going to go to the right as you exhale. Legs are going to softly go to the left. Good. Head can move with the arms if it chooses. And then you're going to inhale back to center, arms and legs. And then you're going to exhale, legs to the left, arms to the right. Breathe here for a moment. And then flow, center, inhale, exhale. Just feeling a little release through the spine as we do a couple more rounds. Arms and legs in each direction. Notice sometimes when you exhale, a little SH breath comes in, and you can feel how that pulls the transverse from the back body through the side body to your center line, which is called your linea alba. There's a ligament that runs from your xiphoid process to your pubic bone. Yeah, and then just take a moment to see when it feels complete. And you just come back to center, no rush. Good. We're going to free the thoracic body a little bit more now by rolling over onto our belly. And you might flip around if you want, those of you in the studio with me, so that you're facing towards the center of the studio. We're going to bring our arms up. If you have glasses, you may even take them off. So the forearms are at the top of the mat, palm resting on the back of the hand, forehead resting on the back of your palm. And you're going to tuck your toes under. I just got my head lifted just so I can talk to you, but your forehead's going to be on your hands. And as your toes are pressing onto the floor and the forehead resting on the back of your hand, I want you to allow, as you press all the pads of the toes into the floor, your shins, your knees, and your thighs to levitate up off the floor, reaching back through inner heel, outer heel to the wall behind you. And then take a little bit of energy and reach out the top of the head forward. So we're just creating some space as you breathe here, strengthening the diaphragm muscle as we're creating resistance of the belly expanding against the floor. You might feel a little bit more expansion coming on the inhale to your back body, through the side of the ribs, the back of the ribs. And then slowly soften that pressing of the toes and relax the legs back on the floor, and then take the top of the feet on the floor. Good. We're going to lift the head gently as we release one arm by your side and the other arm by your side. So you can have the back of the hands on the floor right beside the hip. Sometimes it feels a little bit nicer to tuck the index and the thumb just under the front of the thigh. So that's an option as well. And then you're just going to exhale here. So chin or forehead can be on the floor. And you want to keep your gaze towards the mat the whole time. So try not to look up towards the top of the mat. Just keep nice length, reaching out the top of your head forward. And then just take a moment to reach down through your sit bones, your legs towards the bottom of your mat. And as you exhale, press the pubic bone, the lower belly, the belly button, the hip bones into the floor. And then inhale as you lengthen, and you'll feel the torso, the shoulders, the head gently float up off the floor. And you might take a breath here. Inhale, exhale, keep pressing into the floor, and then slowly lower down. So we're just strengthening the back now, freeing the chest. Let's try that again. Rooting as we keep the sit bones wide and reaching towards the heels. We exhale, we press the pubic bone, the lower belly, the belly button, the thighs into the floor. Gaze stays down, so you're just looking at the mat. And then you lower down nice and slow and controlled. Good. Then we're going to reach the arms up so that they come up above us. Beautiful. And now just let the shoulders and the hands widen a little bit. Sometimes we're quite narrow, so just create some space there. And then let the hands draw back a tiny bit so you feel the elbows bend. Good. Now just exhale, widen the sit bones, internally rotate your thighs a little bit. Reach the sit bones towards your heels as you press the belly into the floor. Start to lift up through the torso, press the hands into the floor, the forearms, the elbows, the upper arm will come off the floor. Shoulders relax, just going to find seal here for a moment. So feel your shoulder blades widen. Keep pressing thumb, index, middle, ring, pinky into the floor. And then you're going to slowly lower down. And then you're going to draw the hands back a little bit closer so the hands come back maybe to the top of the mat, heel of the hand. You might even go a little bit in front if you find that you're just slowly opening. Then let's do that again. Let's press the belly into the floor, the top of the thighs, the hands come up. And then see, maybe you just stay here for a moment as you drop the shoulders down. Nice. Yeah, good. Sometimes the elbows want to come to the floor and see, are they stacked underneath the shoulders? And you can walk the forearms and the elbows a little bit more parallel so you feel that stacking and then you root down through the elbows. And this is called Sphinx. Very soft in the neck. We always try to free the neck a little bit here. So we're going to very gently inhale and exhale and just look a little bit over your right shoulder. Press into your left forearm and elbow. Just take a few breaths. Let the belly be heavy. Keep widening your sit bones. And then you're going to come back to center. Inhale. And then you're going to exhale very gently. Start to let the torso and the head look over the left shoulder. Right hand, elbow, forearm presses a little bit more. Good. Then you're going to come back to center. Then you're going to press the hands into the floor. Let the elbows float up and then let the elbows wing out to the side as you slowly lower down. Good. You're going to support your forehead once again, lifting shins and feet up off the floor, just letting the shins and the feet wiper in the air. Now we're going to bring the hands right underneath the ball of the shoulders. And the elbows are kind of winging up into the air. So you're just going to gather the back of the arms and the elbows towards your body and reach the elbows down towards your hips a little bit. And you'll just feel your shoulder blades slide down your back. And then we're going to just inhale, exhale, press belly, thighs into the floor, hands gently. Just come up into a low cobra. Keep elbows close to body. And then you're going to feel a little bit more of a pressure of the hands into the floor. Lift up and back. Widen the knees a little bit. Sink back into child's pose. Big toes together if you can. And we're just going to circle. So you're going to let the pelvis sink back in between the inner thighs, the more space that you created. And then you're going to inhale the whole torso forward. And then exhale the hips back. And inhale forward. So you're creating this oval shape. When you widen the knees and the big toes come together, you create more space to receive the hips. So you go one direction for as many rounds as you want, and then you go the other way. Good. And then we're going to, as we feel a balance, pause on hands and knees. So stack hands underneath knees, knees under hips. Remember, you can always go down onto your forearms if you feel any strain in the wrist. Now we're going to bring the right arm up. So we did this last week, thread the needle, but we're going to touch our hand to the back of the skull and just very gently hold the back of the skull, lean the skull into the hand into the skull. And then I want you to open your chest, point the right elbow up. So just a little bit different of freeing the shoulder blade. And then you're going to come down with the elbow and thread it under just a little bit. We're not going all the way down. We're just inhaling. So you're going to open left side of the chest, heart, upper side of the chest, and then come down a little bit as you exhale. And then this time we're going to inhale, open up, Good. And then this time we're going to let the arm release from the hand, thread it underneath the left side. So the back of the hand, maybe your head comes down to the floor. Maybe left arm reaches up towards the top of your mat. Some of you can lean into your back, your right arm. So the left arm reaches up, fingers towards the ceiling, or comes and rests on your lower back. We're just going to breathe here. Just focusing. Yeah, so you can have that left hand. There you go, all the way on the floor, Kathleen. The right hand, sorry. Feel the breath here. If the left arm was up in the air, you're going to slowly bring it down so it anchors onto the floor. Press into it. Slide that right hand back. Yeah, come back to hands and knees. And let's just do a few spinal waves in between sides. So you're just going to exhale, let the sit bones release down, the lower back round up, the shoulder blades widen, the head lower down. And then as you inhale, lift sit bones up, lower back arches, shoulder blades squeeze together, gaze softly looks forward. Just go back and forth through the extension on the inhale and the flexion of the spine up towards the ceiling. Just feel the ripple effect through the spine, very nourishing for the nervous system, the body, the vertebra, keeping the disc in between the vertebra nice and plump. So we're always focusing on balancing body, but also nervous system in this class. Good. Now we're going to come back to nice flat back. I'm going to do other side. So we're going to reach left arm up. Hand is going to come behind the skull. Head towards the very base of the skull. Lean the head into the hand. It'll help you open as you point that left elbow up to wherever it comes to. And then you're going to bring that left elbow down. Ah. Inhale, opening up, right side of chest, heart, left side of chest, elbow up. There you go. Bring it down. These are challenging for the thoracic spine, so don't worry if the body doesn't open up too much. This time you're going to let that left arm come down. Thread it through. Left arm to the floor. Back of the hand touches the floor. Right arm can reach to the top of the mat, or you can lean into left arm into the floor. Left shoulder, reach right arm up. Fingers point to the ceiling. Feel deeper stretch through shoulder blades. Some of you like to touch the back of the hand on the lower back. Feel your breath here. Sometimes an exhale out the mouth needs to come in. We're doing some deep opening to heart, thoracic spine, freeing through the muscular structure of the torso. Creating an uplift of energy today. When you're ready, that right arm hand points up to the ceiling, comes down. Right hand touches under the shoulder, comes back. You're going to bring your hands underneath the shoulder. We're going to push right away up into downward dog. So we're going to bring our hands forward, tuck the toes under, release the head. Inhale, exhale, shift the hips up and back. Good. Walk it out. One knee bends, one heel reaches towards the floor while keeping quite strongly pressing of the hands into the floor. Just feeling the strength in your arms. Okay, and option here, if you want, you can walk your feet together a little bit. Sometimes they want to step back and then just see, does body want to come into a plank for a moment? So it's lowering the belly down, the torso, so you're in a straight line. Some of you might even want to be with knees bent. And you can stay here for a breath or two. You can reach the buttocks back up towards the sky, come back up into downward dog. Notice how that feels. And then just see, maybe body wants to go into it one more time. Where you come inhale, exhale, strong body in plank. And lowering the knees if you need to. And then reach up through the pelvis as you exhale back into downward dog. And then see, maybe one more time, maybe I'm good. If you're good, we can always walk your feet towards your hands. We're going into a forward fold. Hands towards feet, bending the knees as much as you need to as you surrender the skull. Okay, just shake out the arms as they're hanging in the air, opening and closing the hands when you're in a standing forward fold. Going to energize the wrists. Open and close, open and close. You can also, if you bend your knees enough, you can get the back of the hands to come down towards the floor, and you can feel a little release through the wrists. We are going to go into chair pose to come out of this to regulate the blood pressure. So you're going to bend your knees, hips sit back, arms are going to come up, torso nice and lifted, shoulders relaxed. There we are. Breathe there. Ah, yeah. And then when you're ready, press down through the feet. Inhale, come all the way up. And then release the arms out to the side. There, we're going to swing the arms. Ah, feel ourselves in standing now. Good. So we're just increasing a little bit more energy in body today. So just feeling that. Notice if the body wants to shake it all or bounce. Always really good for the nervous system. My legs are going, yeah, I just want to shake that out. You can feel all this energy moving, and sometimes you just need to let it pass through the body. Good. So let's just do a few swinging arms today. They're just being called in. So let's just let our arms swing together. Yeah. And you'll feel the bounce in the body coming in. The feet will press into the floor as the arms are back to help the arms swing forward. Good. Just let that, we're just freeing through our lymph and our arms. And then slowly slow it down. Just going to do a little tapping to the legs today. So we're going to start at the hips. You're just going to tap through the hips. Feel the glutes. You can even use just the palm of the hand. You can also go into a soft fist. You can use back of hand. You can come down through the quads into the iliotibial band, into the hamstrings, back of thigh. Give a little bit of circling rubbing to nourish the knees as you then tap through lower leg. You can use back of the hand on the calves, palm of the hand, or soft fist on the shins, and then slowly move up the leg. If knees are saying, wait, don't pass me without circling, offering some nourishment when you think of touching the knees, tapping through the legs into the hips again. I'm going to go into belly, lower back, a little bit of the chest here, upper sternum, heart area, lymph, thymus gland. Oh. We're just going to bring in standing a little B breath. So just inhale through your nose. And as you touch your lips, you're just going to hum. Good. We're going to do that again. Inhale through nose, touch the lips, hum. Feel your feet. Good. If you want to do it again, do it again. You can let your hands go down the arms. And we're just going to take just a little massage as you just touch your neck for a moment and just feel your neck. You can just come into the sides of the neck a little bit. I like to use my right hand on my left side because I find it a little bit easier. So you can do both at the same time, or you can just release and just grab hold of the side of the neck and just gently squeeze the muscles. Just going down into the top of the shoulders. You might even grab and do a little compression. Ah, a breath or two out the mouth, the side. Good. And then use your left hand or both hands. I like to just do one at a time, but both work as well. At least let one breath out the mouth. If that felt good, do it again. Good. And then we're going to inhale as we release the hands. Squeeze the shoulders all the way up towards the ears. Take a pause in our breath that we've been focusing on today. And then as you exhale, just let the shoulders drop. Let's do that again. Press feet into the floor this time as we inhale, squeeze, hold, pause in the breath, and then exhale. Good. One last time. Inhale, squeeze, and then let it go. Take a moment. Sometimes after those moves, the head just wants to flow a little bit. We always try to free energy through the skull, the neck, the throat, the torso. You might have your ears. You inhale up to each shoulder, exhale, chin circling around, down towards the chest. Do what feels good for you. As you bring your ear towards one shoulder, you might even pause there and you can turn. So I've got my left ear towards my left shoulder and my right arm hand, you can turn the opposite hand palm forward and then just even reach the arm up and down a little bit. It frees the neck. Our vagus nerve, which is our longest cranial nerve, which affects our nervous system, our equilibrium, our digestion, our well-being, exits out the base of the skull right behind the ears. Good. And then you release the arm, bring the head back, inhale, exhale, bring the ear to the other shoulder. And then you're going to turn the palm out on the opposite hand and then reach that up and down. Just breathing in the body. You just let the breath find its own rhythm here. It might be in and out of the nose. At times it will release out the mouth. Sometimes a pursed lip breath. Just feeling the nervous system find homeostasis as the body lands inside of itself, releasing arm, head back up to center. Good. Now we're going to locate our ball or whatever we have for foot rolling. So some of us have grabbed their towel. Some of us are taking a glass sip of water. Good. And then you're going to find if you feel one foot, one hip, one shoulder is feeling a little bit sore, then you choose that foot to foot roll on. So for me, my body's asking me to start with my left foot because I'm feeling a little bit in left hip. So you're going to stand on whatever foot you want, really pressing the toes, all of them, all the pads, the whole rim of the heel. So inner heel, outer heel, back of the heel. And then you wait. A little shift comes to your standing foot leg, but you press down, you lift up. Some of us like to use that SH breath, that inhale through the nose, SH. So you feel the transverse abdominis gathering. And then the leg might lift up without lifting the hips. So hips stay parallel. And sometimes you might be an up and down. Some of you might be able to kick the leg in space, find a focal point, see how your balance is today. And then we're going to roll the ball through the entire sole of the foot. Just pressing down times or rolling or having very specific places that your body asks you to go to. Noticing how when we release the fascia on the sole of the foot, we become more connected to the lower earth energy. So it allows us to feel calmer, more connected, and rooted in body and life. Take your time to roll through the foot. You might even pause with the ball underneath the upper part of the foot and let the toes wrap around just to open the top of the foot. You might pump the heel on the ball. Whenever you pump down and you flatten the ball, then just let the ball just ease off and the ball will inflate and allow your foot to lift. So it will create a rebound up through the leg into the hip. It happens when the fascia and the muscles start to free a little bit. All right, you can check once you finish one side how you feel. And then we'll go into the other side. Just taking a moment, ground, maybe an SH breath, a lifting of the leg. You might take a moment just to feel your proprioception. Am I here? Am I grounded? Is one side feeling ease today or struggling? Always approaching this inquiry with kindness towards ourselves. So when we're feeling aligned, we take that awareness with kindness, but also when we're feeling a little bit imbalanced, we also take that in kindness. And just rolling through the foot, listening, compressing, letting the ball inflate. Use the ball in the heel, underneath the toes. Might even drag it across the upper transverse arch, which is that arch under all the metatarsals of the toes. And feeling how that might feel complete at one point. We're just going to go into lateral release now. So we're going to bring right arm up and we're going to grab hold of the right wrist with our left hand and just tug on that right arm. And sometimes you feel the right hip even leans out into it, a little crescent moon. And then you're going to fold forward and then open up back on that right side. And you might do that a couple times. And then when you're ready, you're going to swing through center. You're going to switch the holding. So right hand will hold left wrist, left hip may come out. And just let your body dance here. Do you do what feels right for you? There's kind of no right or wrong way. It's just allowing your body to express and you to listen. So as we build not only the feeling of arriving in our body proprioceptively, we build interoceptively. So how do we feel in our inside space? You might also sense a little bit more release through the wrists as we did do that plank. Downward dog flow of interlacing fingers, pressing the hands forward, leaning the shoulder blades back, and then just letting the body dance a little bit here. Sometimes it dances up into a little side stretch, go back. You might even feel the hands want to come behind the head and interlace, and the elbows reach to the side of the room, and just hold that for a moment, just through open chest. And then you can round through the lower back, upper back, head, and fold down. And then as you come down, very soft hands, lean your head up into your hands, very soft leaning of the head into your hands. Just going to do some isometric release for the neck. And then you're going to lift through pubic bone, lower belly, upper belly, heart, chest as you open elbows. Gaze looks a little bit forward. And then as you exhale, curl tailbone under lower back, shoulder blades round, head. As you come forward, not only tugging on the head, but leaning the head up into the hands, soft hands. One more time, lift pubic bone, lower belly, upper belly, heart, chest, open elbows. Your gaze goes wherever it wants. And then exhale, curl, tailbone, lower back, upper back, head. Lean the head up into the hands, soft hands. Then you're just going to come up one last time. Pubic bone, upper belly, heart, open. Beautiful. Release the hands. Mm. Move around a little bit, shake out the legs. Good. So we're going to do our hip strengthening sequence on a block today. And some of you may or may not use the wall. So you can have a couple different variations. I like the 4-inch block, which I have close to the wall, about a foot to foot and a half away. So you can stand, let's stand left foot on the block. You can have left hand close to the wall with forearm. Just we're standing. You can also be on a chip foam block. Okay, we're going to release psoas, hip. Okay, then we're going to do some strengthening in the TFL, which is an internal rotator. And then we're going to go into the glute medius, which has internal and external rotation. So just pause. Feel your left foot on the block. Pull energy up, out through the top of the head. Take one SH breath out the mouth. There you go. Good, Kathleen. Beautiful. Okay, then without leaning too much in the wall, you're going to use your left hand to press against the wall as you lift your right leg straight out to the side. So if you think of a clock straight ahead, it's 12 o'clock. This is out to 3 o'clock. Good. So straight out to 3 o'clock. Yeah, there you go. And you might need to be a little bit farther from the wall. Foot and a half to 2 feet. Good. Yeah, there it is. Ah, nice. So we can feel that coming into the TFL. Hey, now you're going to go back to 4 or 5 o'clock. So it's a back, but a little bit out. And it's a back and a little bit out. Hey, getting into our glute medius. There it is, back and out. See if you can reach through the heel. So the toes are lifting up away from the floor a little bit. There you go. That's better, Tracy. Good. One or two more. You're going to feel your left leg doing some stability as well. Okay, and then just swing. Swing that leg. Ooh. Okay, we're going to step off. Do a few circling. Arms can be by your side, hands can be on your hips. So you can circle one direction, the other direction. Sometimes there's a figure 8 that wants to come in. My hips love doing the figure 8 after that one. Just let your breath have its own rhythm. Good. See if your body wants to switch and do the figure 8 in the other way. See if you need a little shake out. Okay, then you're going to stand on your right foot. Now notice you need a little bit more space from the wall. So take a moment to ground, lift up through the top of your head, and just let the legs shake or swing a little bit first. Just really soft. Okay, we had standing on this leg, so we just want to free it a little bit more before we start. Okay, so this time you're going to go out to 9 o'clock. So you're rooting through the heel, the toes are lifting away from the floor a little bit as the leg is going out to the left. There it is. Go slow. You might even feel a lift and a hold for a moment, and then a slow lower, a lift and a hold for a moment, and then a slow lower, or just an up and out. Whenever you want to go to 7 or 8 o'clock, it's an out and back. Out and back, maybe hold. Out and back, maybe hold. If you want to end in swinging again, feel free. Come out when you're ready. I'm going to do the hip circles once again. So you can do a figure 8. Go both directions. Okay, when that's complete, you're just going to move your block just off to the side. And we're just going to go into a flow just to move all the energy. So the feet are going to be nice and wide on our mat. We're going to angle the toes out. So we're going to be 3 or 4 feet apart. Depends on your squat. So as the toes angle out slightly, you're going to come down into a nice wide squat. So knees going over the toes. Okay, buttocks down, torso up. Yeah, there we go. So lifting torso. There we go. And then we're just going to activate. So my body's saying, widen a little bit more. You're going to press off your left foot as you move to the right. Then you're going to press off right foot as you move to the left. So just go from side to side. Keep your toes pressing as much as your heel. Okay, we're just bringing in a little flow, asking our adductors to come in a little bit more. Okay, then you're going to find center. Bring the arms up. We're going to find goddess pose. Heavy elbows. Good. Hold here. Inhale, exhale. Wiggle the fingers and thumb. Inhale, exhale. Good. Now we're going to flow up and down. So as you inhale, you're going to press down through the feet. You're going to lengthen up, reach the arms up, open the chest. Maybe gaze comes up, arms may open. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend the knees, bend the elbows back into goddess. Beautiful. You press down through feet, open body, reach arms up, open them up. 5-pointed star. Exhale. Down into goddess. Your rhythm, your timing here. Make it your own. Inhale. When you open, feel your feet. As you exhale, descend down into the earth. Good. Inhale. As you exhale. So you can feel at the top of that inhale, we're bringing in a little pause here in the breath. And then as you exhale, you come down. Just see if you can notice that pause one more time. And release. Good. Bring the hands together, palm to palm touching. One more breath. Press down through the feet. Good. Heel toe your feet together. Shake it out. Let's do a few shoulder rolls. Inhale, shoulders come up to the ears, roll back. Exhale, bend the knees. It's going to be an in the nose, rolling back. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale, squeeze, maybe a pause. Exhale. Maybe feel that pause we've been working on in the breath. Top of the inhale. And then let go. Last time going back, then we're going to switch and go forward. Inhale up. Exhale down. Up. Inhale, pause. Exhale, let go. One more. Good. As you come up, just shake out the body. Okay, we are going to transition down to the floor. So we're going to find the top end of our mat, feet feeling hip width apart, a little bit wider if you need. Let's let the arms and the palms of the hands face forward. You need a drink of water before we go down, feel free. Always a chance once we get to the floor. Exhale out the mouth. Soften the knees a little bit. Feel the weight even between all of your toes, the pads, and your heel. Notice if you tend to weight a little bit more on inner heel or outer heel. Soften the shoulders. And soften the shoulders. Let the breath equalize in and out of the nose. And just feel yourself in standing mountain pose. This is your strength, your stability, the resilience of who you are. Sometimes life spins us and we forget this feeling right here. Forget this feeling of, I have a body, my breath. presence of here, and some tools that you learnt in classes that maybe really resonate with you off the mat. As your arms come up, palms touch, palm to palm, thumbs around the heart. Beautiful. We're going to inhale. As we exhale, we're going to sit down into chair. Beautiful. Press down. Inhale, come all the way back up to standing. And then one more time, exhale down into chair. Arms come down. Inhale, press through the feet all the way up into standing. Exhale into chair. Good. Hold chair for 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Hips lift up, torso folds down. Even the weight on the feet. Feel yourself here. Now you have a choice as you bend the knees and the hands come nice and wide in front of the feet, width of the mat. You can step back into downward dog. Okay, one foot, the other foot go into the inverted V. If you don't want to go into downward dog, you can just step one foot back, bend the knee, come into child's pose. Okay? With the other leg and widen it out. If you're in downward dog again, notice how the second round of revisiting downward dog feels. You might walk it out again. You might just hold the body in the pose. So keep pushing the floor away through thumb and index, especially. This loads the stronger bone in our forearm, the tibia bone. Sorry, the ulnar bone. And we feel a little bit more strength. Then you come down into child's pose when you're ready. Widen the knees if you want. Maybe arms choose to walk to one side. Find a lateral stretch. Sometimes the hands just support the head, and sometimes the arms just go by the side. Okay, so you choose the variation. If you're walking to each side, you're going to go to the other side. When you're ready, inhale through center, exhale, other side. Some of you like that variation where the palms of the hands come together. Lift the forearms up off the floor in the hands and reach the hands to the upper back. Helps to release the back of the upper arms, the triceps, the armpits, the upper side of the rib cage. You're just going to feel another 1 to 2 breaths here. And so we're coming now down towards this time where we're going to end in a little bit of ball rolling today. So you're going to roll off onto one hip. Hey, swing the legs forward. We are going to roll down, meet the floor. Once you meet the floor, draw the legs up into the chest. Give them a hug. You might rock and roll a little bit. To release back and release anything that needs to let go of the hips, you might widen the knees, extend the shins and the feet up in the air, grab hold of the back of the thighs into a variation of baby pose. You might have an ankle hold with your hand. And I know some of you can grab hold of the feet, sometimes pinky side of the hands or big toes. So there's a pulling down on the legs and the feet, and then the feet and the legs gently reach up. So once again, always doing this isometric awareness. You can have stillness, you can have a little rock. Just listen to what you need, just building our interoception, this inner felt sense, awareness. where we hear our body speaking to us. We feel the feelings on the inside of what's happening. This is awareness that we train and we cultivate and we explore through the classes. Your body will decide when it feels ready, and you're just going to let that go. Feet onto the floor. Good. So you're going to locate your ball. So, an option here, some of you may feel I really need to release my iliotibial band, my outer hip, okay, that TFL muscle that we strengthen. Okay, so this one, I like to have some sort of support with the head. So it can be the 4-inch block, it can be the inflated slow ball under the head. And then I like to use the bolster to support. So you can go on to either side, but you're just going to roll over onto one side and then support the knee shin foot onto the bolster. Okay, then you can take your ball, okay, whatever you have. I just got a pink one because it comes up on film nice and easy. And you can come down, you can feel the top of the hip. This is your ilium, the crest of the ilium. Then as you slide down to the outer hip, you can see my hand. You have your greater trochanter bone that sticks out. And then right above that greater trochanter bone and below the ilium, that's where your TFL is, so at the very top of the hip. And so you can start by ball rolling here. And so the muscle goes vertically, which means from the top of the hip down the leg. So we do a combing action to run with the muscle fibers to start in the fascia. And then you can also discover, oh, as you roll back, you can feel, oh, there's my glute as you start to go into the back. The glute medius is right behind on that same kind of plane as the TFL. So as you start to go back, you can feel, oh, yeah, I feel that upper part. Also, we strengthen standing. You can also go across the muscles. So that's going the front and then rolling back to the sacrum. And then you can go down a little bit farther and find that greater trochanter bone, and you can even roll around it. But a lot of your external rotators that connect to this bone into the inside of the pelvis. And then you can adventure down through the iliotibial band. So that's the band of fascia all the way down through the side of the leg to the knee. Sometimes when this becomes dehydrated, tight, stuck, we get pain in our hip or we get pulled in the knee. Okay, so you can go up and down this band, but you can also, that's called combing, but you can also go from front of thigh, crossing the band to the back of the thigh. This is called cross fibering. So it's bringing this iliotibial band in an abnormal way that the muscle fibers do not run. And for this band in particular, which is sometimes called a tendon of the tensor fasciae latae muscle, it is really enjoyable or sometimes a little full of sensation when we do cross fibering. So from top of the thigh, across the iliotibial band to the back of the hamstring. And sometimes you can feel, I feel there's a little kind of place in the middle of my band where I just want to pause and hold the ball there. Okay, so you decide what feels good for you. Circling is also an option. This is some time to take some deep breaths in the nose, out the mouth. Remember, your pressure starts soft and it slowly grows. So you want to only grow pressure when the body starts to release. That means the sensations start to diminish. When the sensations start to diminish, the body will receive the release into the muscles and the fascia. And then you can go a little bit deeper. So just take time to listen, to feel. If the body's been holding for a period of time, then we don't want to go too fast, too hard at the beginning. This is really helpful to releasing through the whole side, through the knee, the hip. You're also releasing your hands. So we did some work really activating the arm muscles. So as you're rolling the ball, we're also relieving any tension through the palm of the hand, through the wrist, into the forearm. So just notice what's happening through the wrist as well. You might pause and just feel a tension move into the palm of the hand and the wrist and just see, oh, that feels quite nice. Uh, you're going to feel that side. If you feel that lying on the side is complete, you can even come back and roll onto your back. And whatever leg that you were rolling, you might even just take a moment to place the ball just a little bit more under the glute muscle. And you might roll back and forth. That leg might also say, oh, just go into a figure four. That's your ankle onto the opposite thigh. And you can roll a little bit here. So take a few breaths. We've been focusing on one side. So if you're, and I'm just going to show this from seated, if you've been doing right hip, right leg, hey, you can also just lying on your back, take the ball in the opposite hand. So I've been doing right side, so that means my left hand will hold the ball. And then you locate the front of the chest, the collarbone, and then just below that, you'll feel this area of the front of the chest. And you can massage all through this area. So we're getting a little bit deeper into what is called our pec minor muscle. So it's below the pec major. And this pec minor muscle attaches to your third, fourth, fifth rib. It also attaches to a little bone. It's called your coracoid process that is right underneath and below your collarbone, closer to the shoulder. And that bone threads through the center of your cavity and it is part of your shoulder blade in your back. So when you release this muscle in the front, your shoulder blades and your shoulder will drop down your back body and will kind of land and rest with more ease. And you'll have less pull in the lower back and the neck. So just take a moment to feel what is needed here. Maybe here for about 10 to 15 more seconds just to complete this side. And then just pause for a moment. You can even rest the ball on your belly or put it just beside you and just let the back of the hands be on the floor and just feel the whole side that you released. And when we soften and release and unstuck and unwind the muscles in the fascia, our nervous system also will have a little bit more ease and equilibrium, which all of the other systems will start to function more efficiently. Our digestive system, our lymphatic system, cardiovascular. Okay, we're going to do the whole sequence on the other side. So you're going to roll over to your other side, supporting your head, having the bolster. to support the knee, the shin, the thigh, and the foot. You're locating the top of the hip, and then going just below that, you'll feel that TFL muscle. So it's on the outside of the hip, that one that we first worked. It is an internal rotator, so really helpful to balance all the external rotation in the body. And as you start to lower down through the side, you'll start to locate the bottom of the TFL, the greater trochanter bone. And then some of you might roll behind that into the back of the hip and just feel, okay, there's my glute medius muscle. The front fibers are an internal rotator, the middle and the back are an external rotator. They help to stabilize us in walking and movement. So the little hip sequence that we did standing on the block, you might notice, oh, I'm going to go for a big hike or a big walk today. And maybe you just do a few of those moves out to the side and then back and out to the side and swinging the leg just to help activate those muscles. And it will give you more support when you're out for your long walk. And then when you come home later on in the day, you can then go into the release that we're doing. And this can very well be done in bed. It's a really nice one to do at the end of the day, using your pillows in bed to support you as you roll around, feeling the iliotibial band going down from the hip to the side of the knee. At any time you're getting called to roll onto your back, you feel free to do that and roll out the hip a little bit more or roll out the front of the chest. I don't want to put a timeline on that for you because this is your practice to complete. Allow the breath to support you as we finish up this practice in the nose, out the mouth, noticing what's needed to complete, and then offering yourself any kind of support, extra layers as the body does cool down as we start to move into stillness and these slower movements. Beautiful. We're just going to take these last few minutes to rest. And re-support the legs again. And take a few breaths in the nose, out the mouth. Let the arms take up as much space as they want. If you do have props around you, just move them out of the way so that your body can express. If hands want to be on belly, it's also an option. Just let your eyes soften, lower, or close. Take that breath or two or three out the mouth to re-land into the support of the earth. Meet yourself as you are as we feel this integration of the practice now. Remember when you started here at the start of class and what accompanied you into bodily sensations, also quality and states of the mind. Maybe notice that things have shifted or softened, or maybe the states are here, but they're just a little bit less. Feel more equilibrium. The breath is more of a flow. The body has more ease and vitality. And we feel the benefits of yoga from this union, this yoking of the many layer and facets of ourself through body, breath, mind, and wisdom. To feel the inner essence of our spirit, our soul, our heart. Very short piece of writing today that I'll say twice is sometimes we don't realize the weight of what we're holding until we feel the weight of its release. Sometimes we don't notice the weight of what we're holding until we feel the weight of its release. Have a couple minutes of silence. Thank yourself for showing up for you today, for creating this pocket of space for yourself. And as you notice your awareness just float to follow your inhale and exhale, feel how your body receives the revitalization on the inhalation and expansion. And notice how your body has the opportunity to release, to soften, to let go as you exhale. As you meet yourself in your fullness through breath and body, you slowly start to invite movements that come to nourish you, to arrive you back into yourself. It might be a wiggle, a stretch, a yawn, some tension and release that we started with. Oh. Take your time to land back inside of yourself and remove any props that you don't need. Roll over, pause if you want on your side, and come up to sit. I've just taken my bolster to sit up on top of, but you can sit just flat on the floor. You can also sit with the legs straight. Whatever feels good for your knees and your hips and the back. Arms are going to be out to the side, palms forward, open heart. Inhale through nose as we reach the arms up, maybe a little bit back. And as we exhale, just giving ourselves a hug, just ending in this act of self-compassion that we do in this class. And just let your body receive this. We openly and freely give this compassion to others, but always remembering to offer it to self. Top arm, whatever it is, notice it as you inhale, open the arms, let them float back. Feel the chest open, the shoulder blades squeeze, and as you exhale, wrap the other arm on top. Give yourself another hug. And when that feels complete, just open up one more time. Inhale, exhale, palms to touch in front of heart. Take a few breaths as we notice as we gather together in community how we help each other co-regulate so that we can self-regulate. If the eyes were closed and the head was bowed, just slowly lifting the head up, opening the eyes. You might even take a moment just to look around and say thank you to all of you. That helps me co-regulate today. Thank you for being online. Mhm.